Hey friends, in this video, I'm going to summarize the latest things that's happening with immigration. If you're interested in hearing about all the wonderful efforts out there to stop President Trump from doing the things that he has started doing, stick around, get this information, and walk away feeling like there's actually things happening to stop some of the madness that we're seeing. So if this interests you, watch this video. Guys, thanks so much for being part of this community and for following me and my work. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel, to McBean Immigration TV, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share this video with other people so that their minds can also be put at ease as they know that things are happening to push back on what President Trump is doing. So let's get into it. So the first issue, guys, has to do with the proclamation, that awful presidential proclamation that went into effect on June 24th. I've talked so much about it. I'll link to those videos here so that you could go back and get some background in the event you're new to this issue. Now, the proclamation is stopping so many people from coming to the United States. I mean, a lot of people. And so a lawsuit was filed just recently, as a matter of fact, by 23 individuals and several organizations. They've all gotten together and they filed a complaint, Gomez versus Trump. And in that complaint, guys, they are alleging that the proclamation is unconstitutional, it's unlawful, and so they want it stopped. They want it stopped. And so that's the biggest thing that is happening right now to really push back on that presidential proclamation. And so again, it's Gomez versus Trump, and it's challenging that proclamation. Now, they say in this press release that on June 22nd, with the stroke of a pen, President Trump signed an extension and expansion of their immigration ban, and the ban is unprecedented in scope. I mean, yes, friends, I asked myself the same question, like, is it really that easy that with a stroke of his pen, he basically stopped immigration for a significant number of people? And that's truly unconstitutional and sidestepping Congress. And so I'll keep you guys posted on this lawsuit. What else is going on to stop the madness? The next issue, guys, has to do with the memorandum or order that Trump signed, which would exclude undocumented immigrants from the U.S. Census. You guys may have heard about this issue in the news. It's actually a really big issue. And with respect to this move, guys, it's going to impact future elections. It's not going to impact the upcoming election in November. No, this has repercussions for years to come, whether Trump is reelected or not, because this is actually for the census numbers for future years, for the next election cycle, not this one. And so that's major, right? Because according to Georgetown University Law Center, they say here in this CNN article, the legal problem is that the 14th Amendment says that representatives shall be apportioned among the several states according to their respective numbers, counting the whole number of persons. And so it goes on to say that means House seats, the House of Representatives, their seats are divvied up based on everyone present in the 50 states, not just based on those lawfully present. And so this is a major move that would heavily favor Republican members of Congress, specifically the House of Representatives, which is the reason why President Trump is doing this, because they want the House back, right? They want the House back. But the good news is that a lawsuit was also filed by a number of cities and states that would stop this. And so a coalition of 20 states and 15 cities and counties charged that Trump's directive shows a blatant disregard of an unambiguous constitutional command. And so this lawsuit was filed right here in court in New York, in federal court, and we'll see how things go. But that's a positive development to stop this madness. Now, what else is going on? The Hill is reporting, friends, that President Trump's hardline position on immigration is actually hurting him rather than helping him. And that's according to a poll that was recently taken that shows that the country certainly remains divided, right, on immigration policies. And it says here the poll focused on attitudes on immigration. And what it does is it shows a stark divide between 53% of responders who said that they are most troubled by cruel and inhumane immigration policies versus 43% who said that they are most bothered by open border immigration policies. And so, guys, as you know, but when President Trump was running for office 4 years ago, he was very hard on, immigration, right? He had a lot of rhetoric about anti-immigration policies and such. And then he came in to office and he started out really, really hard with travel ban and all sorts of things. But now what's happening is that the American people are starting to see the impact of the hardline approach here and see children in cages at the southern border and at other detention centers around the country. They're starting to hear all these awful stories about how immigrants are being treated and how families are being separated and how it's impacting U.S. citizens. And people are saying, wait a minute, there's some inhumane and cruel treatment going on here. And according to this poll, more people lean more to the side of, well, I think Trump has gone too far here with immigration versus those who are saying, you know what? We're mostly concerned about, we don't want open borders. And so the poll was conducted by Democratic pollster, Global Strategy Group, and it was commissioned by various advocacy groups. And the way that they're reading this, they're saying that policies that separate family at the border and what Trump is attempting to do around DACA and some other things are driving voters away from the president. So we'll see, how effective these polls are. Right, we know in the past that polls, I don't put a whole lot of faith in polls, but I thought this was an interesting one here. Just the fact that they surveyed people and just to determine, what do you guys think about this? Do you think he's being too harsh here with respect to immigration? And I'm surprised by these numbers that quite a bit of people who they poll have actually leaned to the side of he's gone too far. So that's an interesting positive development there. And for those of you who are in the immigrant community, that's no news to you. You know how your community already thinks about what President Trump is doing. Now, lastly, friends, another positive news is from the business community. The business community is starting to push back on the Trump administration's efforts to limit the number of people who are coming into this country on work visas. And so according to Market Watch, which published this opinion piece here, why Trump's moves to limit immigration hurts U.S. companies and America's jobs, the writer talks about the fact that immigrants are obviously, they're making a significant contribution to companies, right? And the fact that we are a global community, a global economy, and as such, we need talent from all over the world. And he goes on to say here, without highly skilled, qualified immigrants, American businesses would suffer. American companies have to contend with a growing number of foreign technology firms. If the U.S. restricts access to top talent, we are effectively asking American firms to continue the fight with one hand tied behind their neck. And so the business community, guys, this is not the only, there are so many other articles out there from the business community that says, listen, we didn't agree with the policy to expel students from the U.S. because they're enrolled in courses that are online. We didn't agree with that, says the business community. We don't agree with the proclamation that's stopping these temporary workers from getting visas. We don't agree with what the crackdown on H-1Bs. We don't agree with it. We don't agree with it because our businesses will suffer. And so that's another thing that administration is contending with. And so, friends, there's so much going on that is negative. And so I wanted to do this video to show you that there's a lot of pushback going on to stop the madness with the Trump administration. So If you found this video helpful and encouraging, give it a thumbs up, give it a like, share it with other people, subscribe to this channel, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.